Hi, everyone. Welcome to Diving into Deep Waters. I am your host, Erin Rowling. And I'm going to start off with something exciting because, it's just exciting. I got re-proposed to. Yeah, did you see it? She's shiny. Yeah, it's just super exciting. And you would think after we will be married 29 years in June. So 30 years ago, my husband proposed to me. And I don't know. It's just like, let me tell you the whole story. Okay. So our 25th year anniversary is like a lot of times when like maybe get an anniversary band or something like that. And Paul was like, you have to choose. He made me choose, y'all. So I chose a trip because we went on like another honeymoon, which I talked to you about that. It was amazing. Great decision. But I said, listen, for 30 years, we're going to do something. So you need to start saving. And originally I wanted like an eternity band or something along those lines. And then my aunt gave me my grandmother's wedding ring, which looks kind of like that, a little bit more like a band. And so I was like, and Paul was like, well, I don't have to buy you one of those. And I was like, not so fast, buddy, not so fast. So I was like, well, if I have the band, which is something I really wanted, how about we do a little upgrade on the original wedding ring? And he was like, that's totally fine. And I don't know if he knew what he was getting himself into when he said that. And so, yeah, he was like, you know what? You can do it now. You don't have to wait till 30 years. And so I started, it was one of those things too. It's where it's like, do you keep your original? I've always loved my wedding ring. I never have looked at anybody else's wedding ring and thought, oh, I like that one better. For 30 years, I have loved my ring. But I was ready for a little bit of a change, I think. And I saw this ring and contacted this lady and we designed it and everything. And I got to pick out my own diamond, which was a really cool experience. And everything. And so and then I had this fear, like after she sent me all the things and I approved everything, the ring was in production. Then I had like this gripping fear, like I'm going to get it and I'm not going to love it. I've loved my other ring and that will be sad. Like, what do you do if you don't love it? And so I let Paul know it's coming in the mail. Well, a while ago I said, listen, when I get this new ring, I would like you to give it to me. I don't want to just like plop it on my hand kind of thing. Like I'd like for you to kind of re-propose to me. Not, like re-propose, but whatever, do something special. And that's up to you. And so I let him know that the ring was coming. And he was like, oh, like you going to put it on when you get it? And I was like, did we not talk about this? And so I had to remind him that I wasn't just going to put it on my finger. And he was like, oh, okay. And then the next day he goes, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I know what I'm going to do. And so the day the ring came, like I wanted to rip that box open because I was like, what if it doesn't fit? Or what if I don't like it? And all of these fears. And so I gave him the ring, or I gave him the box. And so then I got home from recording this podcast actually, and from last week. And he goes, we need to leave at 5. And Abby was like, oh, I got this thing that I'm at the school I got to go take care of. And I was like, okay. And so we get in the car and he drives me to a coffee shop here in town that's closed at that time. And we walk in and Abby's there and my friend Tammy's there and Tammy's recording and Abby plays our wedding song that we probably have not listened to since we got married. It was hilarious. It just like took me right back to when we got married, and he had a little table set up and he sat me down and he had this whole thing that he wrote out, and I'm not going to tell you what it said because it's for me and me alone. But it was just super special, and just the ring has always held an incredible significance to both Paul and I. of just something that it's a reminder every day. Like, this is a commitment that I've made. This is something, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, this is for better, for worse. I mean, it brings back all those original wedding promises that we make and our vows that we make to each other. And it's a covenant between us. And so I really love that he took the time to reestablish and reconfirm and just tell deeper things. It's just so funny because when I look back and when we got married, I'm like, how we didn't really know each other that well. We really know each other now. And so it was super special. And he opened the box, and it was just as the day that he proposed to me. My heart just was so happy, and I was in love with the ring. Like, it was so funny though, because the band was in a separate bag and he didn't know that. So I was like, had to freak out. I'm like, where's the band? And he was like, there's a band? And I'm like, there's a band. And yeah, he put it on my finger, and I was like, yes, to the next however many years God gives us, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, till the end of time. He's my one and only, and I'm his one and only. And it just was, we didn't dance at our wedding because we wasn't allowed. And so Tammy's like, you guys should dance to your song. And we did. And it was super special. And so it just, I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. So guys, you want some extra loving. You want to make your wife feel like you proposed the first time. I'll hook you up. I can hook you up with a diamond dealer. And she was awesome. I loved working with her. I honestly had expectations, but she surpassed my expectations. And so, yeah. And for a good price, I can hook you up. So let me know. Ladies, you can share this podcast with your husbands and say, go talk to Aaron, and I will help you. So anyways, that's just something super exciting that's happened in my life. I just wanted to share it with you. It's one of those things you're like, do you share, do not? But you know what? I feel like a giddy girl, and I feel like if you can show your ring off and be excited when you get engaged, you can feel the same way 30 years later and get to do the same thing. So anyways, we know that Mother's Day was last weekend, and we didn't have a podcast for Mother's Day. And maybe it seems a bit weird to maybe unpack Mother's Day when we're past it, but I feel like when you're a mom, a dad, or whatever day it is, like special day, like Valentine's Day or any of those things, like, you don't just have to celebrate that person on that day. I mean, we set aside a day, we kind of make it a big deal. We let that person know how much we love them or appreciate them, but it's not reduced to one day. So I feel like we can kind of unpack some things, some experiences that I went through, some things that I paid attention to over Mother's Day. Mother's Day, I don't know, I think May in general is just a busy time for everybody. I saw this thing that said, why is Mother's Day in the busiest month of the year? I don't know if it's the busiest month of the year, but I feel like that the spring, there's just tons of things happening. And then you have Mother's Day. And maybe that's why it's in that month, because us mothers need to be reminded that we're killing it. We're doing a good job. And yeah, for me, Mother's Day involves, this year specifically, we had our women's gathering. I lead worship, I speak on Mother's Day, and then we were going to drive more than halfway because we didn't want the baby to be in the car too much to go see my daughter for her first Mother's Day. And on top of it, I had company coming in. So it was so funny because I was like starting to get so tired, and then I was just like, okay, we still have to clean the house. And it can't be just like the quick cleaning that you want to do sometimes, like you just kind of keep up with things. Is like we had to do some, like I had to wash the sheets on the bed and do all that kind of stuff. But so I guess to say I was busy is a little bit of an understatement. And here's the thing, I did feel like I had it all together. I actually felt very prepared for the weekend. Each day I knew exactly what I needed to do, what I needed to get done beforehand. I had my checklist made. I had my Amazon order placed. But I don't know, sometimes you can feel like you've done so much work on the front end, but then still when you get to the moment, the thing that's going on, you're like, did I do anything? Like I started to feel a little bit overwhelmed. But one of the things, and so what I'm going to do in this podcast, actually, it's not this big, deep biblical podcast, but I feel like my sister-in-law asked me, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to unpack my weekend of Mother's Day because I just feel like there were moments where just certain things stuck out to me and things that I want to pay attention to. And life leaves us lessons all the time. And so that's what we're going to do. And the first thing that I did for myself, I gave myself a gift, which I saw this thing that said, anything that you buy in 2 weeks leading up to Mother's Day is a Mother's Day gift. So remember that for next year if you didn't. But this isn't even something you have to buy. One morning I woke up and I was just like, I just felt, you wake up and you feel overwhelmed and you haven't even started the day. That's not like the best way to start your day. But I kind of looked at my plate and I just thought to myself, what can you take off of this? Like, look at all of the things going on and what is something that you don't have to do? And one of the things I thought to myself, you don't have to do that. We had talked about changing the backdrop for our church. And we were like, oh, this backdrop would go perfectly with Mother's Day, and then we can keep it all summer. Well, I didn't plan well enough on that. I had a lot of this stuff, but there was like one main component I had not thought about. And plus, we know that every project is bigger than what we think it is. And so I was like, this is probably bigger than I think it is. And I thought to myself, who's going to care? Nobody's going to know that you were going to change the backdrop. Now, if you listen to this podcast, now you're going to know that it was going to be changed. But it's going to get changed at some point. I don't know when, but not yet. And I was like, you can do this another time. You don't have to do this right now. This is not like a must thing. And so I gave myself this gift of, I'm giving myself permission to take this off of your plate. Did you know you can do that? Did you know you can take things off of your plate and give yourself permission to not do it? Like, look at your plate. I encourage you, look at your plate and look at all of the things that are on it. And I dare you. I double, triple, whatever, quadruple dare you to take something off, to give yourself permission to not do something on your to-do list. Like, no one's going to know. No one's going to know that you didn't do it. Only you will know that you didn't do it. But like, free yourself. Like, sometimes things that was not giving me joy. It was stressing me out, and stressing me out where it was taking away from the joy of other things that I was finding joy in. But it was adding a pressure to me that I didn't need. And here's the thing. When you take it off, I'm just going to prepare you for this. Sometimes we take something off and then we have regret. We're like, wait a second, I should be able to do everything and I'm going to put it back. Don't do it. Step away from the plate and do not do it, because this is what happened to me. After I gave my permission, I felt so free and everything. Then I thought, oh, I should really do that. Like, I'm sure I can make that work. And then I was like, no, you're not. Like, give yourself a little scolding and say, no, men, women, all of us, teenagers, all of us, unless it's something your parents told you to do, then you need to do it. And you can't be like, I listened to this podcast and the lady on there told me that I could take it off. And so I'm taking it off. Don't tell your parents or husbands to wives and be like, Erin said I had to take it off. No, you know what I mean. Anyways, so that was one of the first things that I gifted myself for Mother's Day. But even though I had removed something from my plate, I still had this moment where I kind of had to stop myself and realign my thoughts and my feelings. And because I put a lot on there. We decided to do this bloom bar for our mothers, which is lovely. It came out so good. But here's the thing, again, sometimes we make decisions to do something and we don't take in account of like how long that's going to take us or the amount of process that it's going to take, what it's going to require, what's going to go wrong, like we when it's up here, the idea, it just is like perfect. But then you dive into a project or something that you're going to do, and then you pretty soon find out like, oh, wow, that's way more entailed than I originally thought. And I did not know the amount of work that was going to go. And I also had a freak out moment. I was just going to say Amazon should not mess with perimenopausal women or menopausal women or women in general. When we order something, we need it to show up when you tell us that it's going to show up. So any Amazon people out there, please listen. If I order something from Amazon, it's because I need it. And I need it to show up when it says it's going to show up. So I borrowed a flower cart, but that was not going to be enough for like over 100 women at our church. And so I was like, oh, I'll buy one. Then the church will have one because I already got ideas for it. And so I go to look, of course, it's going to be here in time. It's going to be here on a Wednesday. Mother's Day is until Sunday. We're good. We've got plenty of time. And just before you think that I wasn't on top of it, we thought we had one, but we didn't. So then we had to order one, which is fine. It's totally fine. But just so you don't think I was slacking. Sometimes I do slack, but I wasn't slacking in this area. So I look at then I'm like checking everything to make sure everything's coming in when it says it's going to come in. And what says it's coming in after Mother's Day? The flower bar. Yes, I did freak out. Yes, did I order one immediately? Yes, that was going to come in on Friday. Guess what showed up the next day? The flower bar that I first ordered that was supposed to come in after Mother's Day. So guess who has 2 flower bars now? Me. I'm going to take one back to Amazon though, because it's not my fault. Anyways, so that was my first panicky moment. My second one was I ordered the flowers and I picked them up. And here's the thing. I've never done a flower bar, but I had an idea of what I needed. And I get them and I look at them and I think to myself, there's not enough. That is an event planner's worst nightmare, is to not have enough of something. So I'm like, I have to get more flowers. And I call Paul and I'm like, listen, at first I thought maybe I do. Okay. So I get all the flowers in the things and then I'm like, you better count them. So I count them. I had enough to give 2 stems per mother. That's not enough because we had these little things. I was supposed to make like a bouquet. I'm like, this is Friday. So I was a little bit on top of it, you guys, because I made sure the flowers came in Friday. She said, do you want them on Saturday? I said, no, I would like them on Friday because I just want to make sure everything's okay. See, sometimes I'm on it. And I'm like, it's Mother's Day. Like, where am I going to get flowers? Kroger. Let me just tell you, you need flowers, go to Kroger. They will bail you out. Except I did get to Kroger and I walk in and all of the flowers are in bouquets. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to buy however many bouquets and I'm going to have to separate all of the flowers. But the Lord was with me and it's actually funny because we just read this thing about an arrow prayer, like a prayer that you say real quick and you kind of shoot it up. And that's exactly what I did. This was in our Bible reading and it'd make a great podcast. So it's probably coming back. But I was just like, Lord, this is not the flowers that I need. I need individual flowers. And I look and behold, there are individual flowers. I pillaged them all. I pray nobody else needed flowers. I actually did think of that. I was like, Lord, if there's someone else who needs these, make whatever is left exactly what they need because you have given me what I need. People are looking at me like I was bonkers because I had flowers upon flowers upon flowers, but the Lord provided, you guys, the flowers that I needed. And I got back. I was like, put them in there. All was secured. I had everything that I needed. And then my husband, I tell him like, hey, I'm back in town. Just want to let you know, I think I have enough flowers now. And he says, do you want help? And Abby's like, I'll help. I was stressed out. And I was like, no. Because sometimes like I can't deal with other people when I feel stressed sometimes. If you know, you know. And so, but then I'm looking at the floor. I was trying to be neat. And there's just like flower stems everywhere. There's bags from the flowers everywhere. I still had to put the flowers together for the women's gathering table. I still had to put the cookies out. I still had to do a few other things. And the steamboat did not have any steam. She was losing steam and she was losing it fast. And I just thought to myself, what are you doing? You have 2 people offered to help you. And here's the thing. My friend had offered to help me. And I was like, you know what? I got it. I apologized to her the next day. I was like, I thought I had it and I did not have it. And she was like, I told you I would help you. And I'm like, I know. Just next time say, I'm showing up. See, here's the thing. Accept the help, you guys. Accept it. I don't know what is wrong with us. I think we feel like if we accept help, somehow it's like us admitting we can't do it all. Here's the thing. Even if you can do it all, why? Why not accept the help? Also, it's someone else's blessing. I'm speaking to myself apparently because I told them no. But as I was looking, I just felt like a prick from the Holy Spirit. Like, what is wrong with you? You have 2 people willing to help you. Abby will do things the way I want things done. And your husband could clean all this up and he'll do a great job. So accept the help. So I called him back and I was like, hey, if you guys are willing, I could really use the help. And they were there in 2 seconds. Paul literally cleaned up everything. He made sure the bathrooms had toilet paper and cleaned up and ready. Abby placed all the cookies exactly how I would do it. She put all the flowers out for me. And then I was done. Accept the help. Stop trying to do it all. I'm not good at this. You're probably not good at this either, but we don't have to do it all. Just let people help us. All right. So that was a long road around to like realigning ourselves on our thoughts and our feelings, because as I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off and feeling distressed, I felt like the Holy Spirit was just like, this is your get to, but you're acting like it's your have to. And that actually has happened to me for the last couple events that I've done, where I'm starting to feel like this is my have to, and the Holy Spirit reminds me, it's your get to. See, when you're doing things for other people, you're serving. And you get to serve. It's a joy to serve. And allowing stress to take the place of your get to really steals your joy. And you won't serve as well. You won't serve with joy or gladness. And I took a step back and I thought, I had these beautiful cookies made from my friend Rachel. If you need cookies, hit me up. I'll set you up. She does beautiful work. And I think she got like 5 orders right at Women's Gathering. So everyone loved them. But I was like, you get to bless the women at Women's Gathering with this beautiful cookie and this setup where they get to come in and sit down at this table, and it's a way to bless them. Like, especially for the women who appreciate something pretty, you get to make something pretty for them, and you get to do this flower bar for the moms. And it's not just for those mothers who have kids. It's those mothers who are in waiting, or the mothers who have lost babies, and the ones who are struggling with because they don't have their mom. And it's just a little way to love on people. And you're letting the stress steal the joy of your get to. And I think sometimes we just need to take a step back and say, am I allowing things, my have to take away from my get to? It's not a have to. And if we approach life as, I have to do this, and I feel like there's this thing that we've adopted or accepted in our lives of, even when it's like cleaning your house or we're making dinner, it's like, I have to do this. Well, what if we just turn our thoughts around, which we just talked about being a gatekeeper and was a gatekeeper over that thought, and say, this isn't a have to, this is a get to. I get the joy of serving someone, making a meal for my children. I get to, listen, parents of young ones, you get to clean their clothes for them and be the hero of the day and show up with the cleats that they forgot, because you're a hero in that moment. Like, it's just something that the Holy Spirit has just been knocking at my door. And if he's been knocking at my door, guess what? I'm going to bring it to your door. And I'm going to share it with you. And I looked back on the weekend, and the women were just like oohing and eyeing over these cookies. And, Jen, my speaker, my friend who was speaking, she's like, thank you, Erin, for setting this up so beautifully for us. And the flower bar, I saw the pictures of, women picking out flowers and the joy that it brought them. It's a way to serve. It's a way to love people. It's a way for you to love your family, your spouse. I mean, my husband's spatula was in the sink today, and I thought, I'm just going to leave it there and he can wash it, because, I have to wash other things. And then I thought to myself, you get to wash this for him. Did he notice? I don't know, but it's just a way to serve him. Don't let your have to take away from your get to. And if you feel like you have to, take a step back and ask the Holy Spirit to show you, how is this your get to? This Mother's Day was my first Mother's Day without my mom. And I did not feel emotional. There's a word. Emotional about it at all. And I actually was like questioning myself about that. Paul and I had a discussion about it. I was like, is something wrong with me that I am not feeling emotional about missing my mom today? Like, kind of like, what's wrong? Are you alive in there? Kind of, thing. And my sister, it was her birthday, and we ended up talking on the phone, and I said, hey, this question, like, how are you doing with it being our first Mother's Day without mom? And she goes, I'm not really emotional about it. And I said, neither am I. Are we bad kids? Like, what's wrong with us? And we were talking about how she's a pastor. So we were talking about our messages for Mother's Day and our gifts. And then we were both afterwards going to go see our daughters with our grandkids and stuff like that, and just the busyness of the day. And she said, well, I haven't had a breakdown about it at all. And she goes, honestly, I don't really have time to have a breakdown about it tomorrow. And I said, neither do I. And she's like, I don't have space for that. And so she's like, I hope like we're not preaching and we have like this huge moment of just feeling super emotional or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like we got things to do. We don't have time to be emotional. And we kind of talked about it a little bit more, and it was nice to unpack it with her, because she made a good point. She said, the thing is with our mom, she was a missionary, and most Mother's Days, we never spoke to her on Mother's Day because of the time difference. We were serving in our churches, and by the time, we were done with whatever, we just didn't get to talk to her on Mother's Day. And the last time, because I was trying to rack my brain, I think the last time that we actually spent Mother's Day with our mom, probably when we were kids or like pre-leaving the house. I mean, I probably haven't spent Mother's Day with my mom since I was 18. And probably similar for her. And so we kind of unpacked that we felt like maybe that was a part of it, not that it didn't mean we didn't miss her or that, we don't love her. And I think that's another thing. And my husband says that sometimes, he goes, sometimes things make you feel like you should be emotional about it. And when you're not, you feel guilty for it. And we really shouldn't approach grief like that, because grief, plays a lot of different roles in all of us, and we all grieve differently. When I listen to a podcast, it's like a crime podcast, and they're like, and they didn't cry. And I'm like, maybe they just can't cry. I mean, I don't know. Although I have seen someone who I'm pretty sure something or another, I won't go into that, but I was like, I was a little suspicious because they did not seem upset. But, you know, I don't know. So all of you are like, what? Tell us. I can't go into that right now. But ask me on the side and we'll talk about it. Anyways, but yeah, it was and I think too, like for me, my sister doesn't live by her grandkids, and so she was like, the joy of getting to see my grandkids and my daughter is trumping at the moment missing mom. And I felt the same way. Like my daughter asked us to meet, and we originally weren't supposed to, and she was like, I just feel like I need to be with you on Mother's Day. And I was like, okay, no problem. I would drive. I preached, I led worship, I got 3 hours of sleep, maybe 4. I would have driven 500,000 miles to see them. Like it was so worth it, and I was so excited about it. It was so funny. We pulled into the parking lot. We met at a restaurant, and Frank was outside with Audrey, and we're pulling in. And I mean, literally, like, I think if we could have, Abby and I would have jumped out of a moving car because Audrey was just being super happy. And we're like, I mean, we're basically like going against each other to like get to her. And it was funny because Liz says to me, she goes, can I get a hug before you take Audrey? I was like, yes. She was like, Happy Mother's Day. I'm like, Happy Mother's Day. But when we left, I kind of just took in this thought of that most of my Mother's Days have consisted of wanting peace. And basically, like when we go out to eat, Paul and I had this pact. Whoever, if it was Mother's Day, he would do it. If it was Father's Day, I would do it, or a birthday meal, like the other one kind of took care of it. But that other parent is in charge. It's like they sit next to the baby. They cut everyone's food. If someone has to go potty, they take them. Like basically allowing the other parent whose day it is to like have complete, a nice meal, not have to do anything, a hot meal. And it's just so funny because of course, am like, me and Paul sat next to Audrey at the table, and we put Frank and Amanda down at the other end. And I think I had 2 chips and salt, which I love Mexican food. That's like my favorite. And I had like a couple bites of my nachos. Like I had 1 bite of fried ice cream, which is one of my favorite desserts. And it was just like, we left and I was like, yeah, I only had like 5 bites of food. And Paul's like, are you hungry? And I'm like, I'm not. I could not feel more full. Like it was so much fun to, like, I was stealing all the rice off of Paul's plate. I think Audrey, all of his Mexican rice. She loved it. She got a little scared of the waiter at one point, and so she ended up sitting in my lap. And she ate a protein cookie. She ate Mexican rice. She loves the cold water, I think, on her gums. She loved that. Like I lifted her up and I had like food all over me, and I could not have been happier. Where when I was a young mom, I was like, oh my gosh, my brand new outfit's got a stain on it already. And I've worn it once. Did not care about anything. It was just like utter joy to sit there with her. I mean, here's the thing. And if you're a grandparent, listen, anytime you go out to eat or anything, like you get to eat most of your meals in peace and eat a full hot meal, drink your whole cup of coffee. When you're with your grandkids, like give that gift to your children. Like even though Frank, it wasn't Mother's Day, I was like, they could sit and have fun with their siblings. Joseph FaceTimed us from Spain, and so we all got to talk to him. And it was just so nice for us to sit and take care of her. There was this balloon that was around. She loved the balloon. We tried whipped cream for the first time, and they could just sit and just eat their meal together. Like gift that to your kids, because you're going to get to go home. And here's the funny thing. We went out for Mexican the next night, and I got to eat my whole meal. I ate all of it. I had 30 chips and salsa. And I had a fried ice cream. I did share with Abby, but yeah, I don't know. It's such a gift. So gift that to your kids. And um, the last observation I'm going to give for this past weekend for myself, and something that I've told you that I love that my kids write me cards. It's one of my greatest gifts on Mother's Day. They did buy me a gift, and I love it, and it was so sweet. But honestly, the cards, it's just like the most endearing thing they could ever do for me. And if your kids don't do it, do it. Like, I know when our kids are little, like, and this is what I was noticing on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, like moms were posting adorable, like fill in the blank kind of thing. My mom is, 8 years old, or my dad is 365 years old, or something like that. One was something about, I love my mom more than somebody's iPad. It's just, that's the thing. Kids are so honest. They're real. They say what they think. And some moms with older kids posted some things, and there was just one of my friends, her daughter wrote just some beautiful things about her mother. I mean, just so special. And I was conversing with her through Instagram, and I was just like, I think sometimes we don't see ourselves the way that our kids do. And a lot of times our kids aren't walking around giving us compliments all the time either. That's why these cards are beautiful, because my kids take time to like sit down and actually tell me what they think. And sometimes it's like the very thing you need to hear. And even looking at my friends and the things her daughter said, she was like, it just really spoke to me. Like, this is how she sees me. And I just think that we are so unaware of the love and respect, and that we often feel like our kids, nobody notices what I do. Nobody cares that I do these things. And they do. They just don't tell us all the time. And that's what I love about cards, and not store-bought cards, because I love to see what my kids that came from Grand Rapids, they all had the same thing. And I don't know if they tore off the back of a card that they found in Amanda's car or something. I don't know, but it was some sketchy paper. But it didn't matter what it was on. It was beautiful. Joseph's he sent to Paul and made sure that Paul gave it to me, and it was so special. And I would highly encourage you, and dads do it next year for Mother's Day, and mothers, you can start it for Father's Day this year. And sometimes it's a picture. I got lots of pictures in the beginning and a very few words sometimes, but as the years have progressed, I mean, like Abby, man, even the kids were like, Abby, you're so good with your words. And because she was like, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it makes sense. And she just writes so well, actually, and expresses herself really well. But I just think that it's so good for us to have a little glimpse of that. They see us past, butt wiper, or nose booger, get the boogers out, or, the person who, does team dinner in 2 seconds flat because, your kid forgot to tell you, or all of those things. It's just like they really do love and appreciate us. I was just going to share a couple things that my kids wrote, because it was, I don't know. It always impacts me, but I don't know, maybe I'm getting older or whatnot, but I just appreciate it more this year than I ever have. And it was so fun because one of the things that was on there was one of my kids drew me, and this is just something they draw and all the time, kind of funny, but they drew me with a Superwoman outfit on. Now, I had more than 5 fingers on each hand, so I don't know what that was about. I only have 5 on each hand. But it was just so cute because it was just like, oh, they see me as Superwoman. Even just a little drawing can just give you insight on how they see you. But it was also sweet because sometimes you just wonder, do your kids even know what you do? Do they even care what you do? And one wrote, I'm so proud of how far you've come with your podcast, even though they don't listen to the podcast. And how many people you reach using God's word. And then this, of course, made me get teary-eyed. But seeing how you care for Audrey shows me that I will have you as a Mimi that will care so much for my children when that day comes, which just blessed my socks off. One other kid wrote, thank you for not making me worry if you're going to sleep with one of my friends. Also, my kids write some interesting things in their things, and I was like, you're welcome. Something you're never going to have to worry about. But then they wrote, I'm glad that you're my mama and I'm glad Audrey gets to experience something we never got, and they said, a present and caring grandma. I can't wait to see your relationship with her grow and the other 9 grandkids you've ordered. See, they're paying attention. I've ordered 10 grandkids and they know it. We've got 1, we got 9 to go. They can figure out how to do that. It was funny because one of my kids wrote, and I was trying to read it, and you would have thought they were drunk when they wrote it. They did not finish any of their sentences. So they had to read it to me. They were like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, I don't know. But they wrote basically like they hear all of these from their friends, all of their mom issues. And they said, but I use you as an example of what to do right. And I look at the beautiful way God has redeemed your story, which, because sometimes you just, as a parent, you think you completely and utterly fail your kids all the time. Now, this is where I'm going to get emotional. And then to have your kids be like, you're not failing us. Another kid wrote, Hebrews tells us that God shows us his love by how he disciplines us. I know there were moments when you had to discipline us and it was hard, but you equipped us to handle the world much better because of your obedience. I hope to raise my kids like you did us. And they wrote so many more things, but everything they wrote to are all things that I have doubted about myself as a mother. And yet there it was, in writing, like all the things that they see me. And 2, I think it was just a reminder from my Heavenly Father, to go a step further than how my kids see me, that it's the Father's love through their eyes and them willing to express that. And the Lord saying, see, you're doing okay. You're doing all right. You're not completely messing them up as we think we are. Because I think sometimes we're so quick to shrug off compliments. I watched it even with my daughter. Like one of the kids said something and she was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, honey, accept it. Accept that compliment. And I know it makes us feel uncomfortable when people give us compliments, but it's just, we should, instead of like shrugging it off, like take it to heart. It's a gift, a compliment, a card, or a word of affirmation, or a word of life that's written to us or said to us. Let it encourage you. Let it make you walk a little taller, or be like, okay, like keep going in this direction. You are going in the right direction. You're not going in the wrong direction that we often think we are. Like keep up the good fight of whether it's motherhood or your faith or whatever fight you're in. Like sometimes those little words of encouragement can just be like, okay, you're going in the right direction. Like keep fighting. Don't stop. Because even like with discipline, there's been times where it's like, am I too hard on my kids, or am I not hard enough on my kids, or do they resent me? Because when your kids get to be adults, you're like, I'm pretty sure they probably resent me. And to hear my kids be like, no, you did a good job. Like, and I want to raise my kids in the same way. It's like, okay, I didn't totally mess you up. There are probably some ways that I did totally mess them up still, but not completely and totally. And so I guess what I just want to encourage you to do just what I've done with this podcast is maybe go back over your last week and just look for the little ways that stick out to you, that you can pay attention to, the little lessons that maybe you didn't pay attention to or didn't learn, and you just, by stepping back, and you can be like, oh, I need to pay attention to that more in my life. Or, wow, that I shrugged that off, but really that's a blessing that someone told me that or said that to me. And just ask ourselves, what have we learned? What can we change? What can we apply to the next week? Like, life gives us so many moments to glean from and to grow from. And sometimes we need to stop, take a breath, sift through what we just experienced, what we just walked through, so that we can learn, grow, and then take it into the next week. So I would just encourage you to take time from this week or your last month or whatever it is, and just see how you grew, what you can pay attention to, and what you can bring into your going forward. And if you're a mom, you're killing it. You're doing a great job. We have Father's Day coming up soon. You're killing it. Grandparents, you're killing it. You're a person, you're killing it. You're an aunt, you're an uncle, you're killing it. Whatever your role is in life, you're a teenager, you're killing it. You're going to survive. You may not think you are. Or whatever. You're a kid, you're killing it. We're all just keep pursuing Jesus, and we're going to make it. Love you guys.